Hey guys, how's it going? And today's video is going to be kind of like a response video to Rich at Review Tech USA with his Nintendo has learned nothing from the Wii U's failure video. Now, I respect his channel, and I think it's really cool that you can sit in front of a camera and get 500,000 subscribers and talk about news. I think that's really awesome. Hopefully I can be there someday. But about his video, he said that basically due to, of course, Reggie Fils-Aimé's comments, that he suspects that Nintendo has learned nothing from the Wii U's failure. Somehow, what Reggie said about Nintendo saying it's not about specs, it's about content and everything like that, somehow he made that conclusion that the NX specs are going to be extremely subpar. Which I highly doubt. As you know of my previous videos, guys, that you've seen, there's plenty of evidence against that theory, that the NX specs will be weak. However, he did make a good point though, which is realistic, and I will give him credit for that, because he pointed out that Reggie said the exact same thing in 2013 after the Wii U had already launched. He was asked a question by Forbes in an interview. They said that, hey, the Wii U has been out for 6 months, and now the competition's coming out with their hardware, and it's going to be higher spec than yours, and aren't you worried about that? And Reggie said the usual PR response, and he said, no, Nintendo's all about the content, and our games, are going to be supreme over everything else. But the big thing that Rich forgot to pay attention to about that interview was that Reggie was comparing the Wii U and the potential success of the Wii U, comparing it to the original Wii. He brought out the fact that the Wii sold 100 million consoles and it was considered underpowered, and but yet people wanted to experience it and everything like that. He was talking about the Wii's success in relation to the Wii U's potential success, in the statement about the Wii U being lower spec'd and more about the content and the experience. Now, he said something almost similar but not quite in that interview with Bloomberg. All he said is that Nintendo is not focused on specs and they're focused on content. He didn't say anything about the Wii U. He didn't say, hey, when the NX comes out, the Wii U was so successful with its lower specs and with its architecture that was different than the competition that we're going to have the NX do the exact same thing because the Wii U was so successful, you see? No, he didn't say that. He said that, 3 or 4 years ago, when the Wii U came out, in relation to the Wii, because of the success of the Wii. Hey, it worked then, it's going to work again, guys, and guess what? It didn't work. So, Reggie did not say that. Also, the NX has not been shown at all to the public. So to say that the NX is going to have low specs because of this statement also holds no water at all, because that is absolutely contrary to the things that we've already been hearing about the NX with its industry-leading specs, or not specs, industry-leading chips. No one wants to say specs, right? There's no way Nintendo could release a higher spec system. No. No. Industry-leading chips is what it said. So modern design, which means that it's not going to be based on something that's 5 years old like the Wii was and the Wii U was when it was released. So that right there tells you if it's a modern chipset, it's not going to be something that's already old and outdated out of the gate. Rich made a point that the problem with the Wii U is that it was a generation behind when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out to compete against it. It was already a generation behind. It was more like a competition between Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So my point is that the NX is not going to have that problem because it's going to be based on something modern. So even if the NX is slightly less powerful than the PlayStation 4 Neo, which we're going to assume it is still highly likely that it's going to be more powerful than the PlayStation 4 based on the new architecture of the system. So put those things together, and we've been hearing about the dev tools for the NX being a lot easier to use than the Wii U. Another thing people forget is that the Wii U was difficult to program for, not just because of the architecture, but because of the development tools that Nintendo did not provide the developers. Developers were left to basically figure out the system on their own, get games to be optimized on their own, And it took an extraordinarily long amount of time to do that on the Wii U. That was a big problem right there. And then you combine that with the sales, of the system not taking off, and you could see right away the system was going to be going downhill from there. Developers did not want to take the time to learn the system. Nintendo didn't give them the tools to learn the system or to make the development environment better. So with the NX, it looks like it's going to have a modern chipset design. It's going to be something that's newer architecture. It's going to have development tools that are going to be a lot smoother and easier to use for developers, which is going to lead to less time spent building games, less time porting them over, and more games coming to the system because there's going to be parity there. So you see the difference between the Wii U and the NX? There is a big lesson learned by Nintendo, and just because they're not advertising their specs on the billboard saying that we have 5 teraflops against PlayStation 4's 4 teraflops, it doesn't mean absolutely anything. Because yes, Nintendo's all about the content. Zelda Wii U won officially Game of E3 for a reason. It wasn't just because it was just all Nintendo fans going to play the game. No. It was because it was the best game there, hands down. Other websites reporting the same thing that are not Nintendo websites have said that the game was the best E3 had to offer. People were stampeding to that game to wait for it, to play the game, waiting for 4 hours plus in line just to play it, and that was just one game on the Wii U. So Nintendo does have the ability to produce content that people want. And Zelda is not a game made for casuals. It's a core game. It's for core gamers. Collect everything, explore everything, and the game is absolutely amazing. Translate that to what the NX is going to be launching with, and you can kind of see the path that Nintendo's taking with this system. Sorry, Rich, that you're so worried about Nintendo and that they're going to fail with the NX and that it's just all over for them if they don't have a 6 teraflop system. Oh my gosh, it's just the end of the world. Guess what? They proved at E3 with just one game on a very underpowered system on a 2008 graphics card that one game with Zelda, designed the way it is, was better than anything else there at E3 in 2016. Granted, you may call me a Nintendo optimist, and I am. I'm very optimistic, but also I'm realistic, because Nintendo, you think they didn't learn their lesson because of the Wii U and because of the Wii. They didn't learn their lesson from the Wii because the Wii was successful. So of course they didn't learn any lesson from that. They learned that they could get away with creating a system that was underpowered. With the Wii U, they learned a very harsh and realistic lesson that the audience that bought the Wii is gone, and the audience they need to capture are the ones that they had on the Nintendo 64 and the GameCube. That's what they learned from the experience with the Wii U and the Wii. So this system, realistically, you guys know I'm optimistic, but realistically, this system is going to be competitive graphically. My guess is going to be something that's in between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Neo. Maybe even leading closer to the PlayStation 4 Neo because of the architecture of the system being newer, therefore leading to performance that will be more modern, which would be based on something like the PlayStation 4 Neo. See what I'm saying? Not saying teraflops would be the same. I mean, obviously, no one knows the specs. We're all speculating. But all these things that we've been going over the past year, everything leads to it being something that is on par and better than the PlayStation 4. It's just silly to ride every comment that someone at Nintendo makes as being taken in a negative way. Basically, if Nintendo says it's not about specs, great, it's not about specs. But what it is about is making content that people want. So what that means is that if people want open world games, if people want great graphics, Nintendo's going to make the content that people want, which means they're going to have a machine that is capable enough to make the content that the gamers want. Better specs mean better content for the gamer. So Nintendo knows this. They're not getting away with a system that's underpowered. So the Wii U was considered underpowered. The NX will not be. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe and comment, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. Take care.